Each time be like a letter to myself. Reminded that I was blinded by no remorse. I threw shots, he responded with a cross. Young...
Hello and welcome to Truth Prevails. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys a clip that I have with a Jehovah's Witness, an elder from the same congregation from the other videos that I had released. This is a different elder. The other one didn't want to return. So with this clip, it's going to specifically talk about should we trust the New World Translation. When I'm speaking with the elder, I'm explaining to him there's no scholars on this committee. And the New World Translations of Society specifically didn't release the names because they knew this. And if you ask, I want you to ask the Jehovah's Witnesses, and they will proudly say, "Oh, we can trust this translation. We can trust it." So when you just ask them, do you know any of the scholars that was on that committee that made that Bible? Because you can Google right now the King James, the NLT, any other Bible translation, and you will find the committee of the scholars that did it. I'm going to post a link in the description box of the court transcript, because Frederick Franz was the only scholar. He used to be their president. He was the only one, and he couldn't speak Hebrew. But they expect us to trust his Bible. So please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if I said anything wrong out of context. Please let me know. The one thing we want to do is always remain humble and teachable. You know, when I talk to Jehovah's Witness, I pray that they will humble themselves and understanding they're following a religion and not Jesus. Thanks for watching. While I was looking online, was you able to look into the translator thing?
Yeah.
What was you able to find out?
Everything I found that backs up what you're saying are people that have a beef with the Watchtower Society.
Yeah.
You know? So I looked it over. I mean, Frederick Franz was a scholar. He knew, he was fluent in quite a few languages, Greek being one of his better ones. But he did not, how should I say it, monopolize the translation. He was just a member of a committee. And the person that says a lot about that is his nephew, Ray Franz, who, as you may know, was disfellowshipped from Jehovah's Witnesses. And once that happened, a whole lot of books and stories came out. Now, all I'm going to say is, when you got somebody that doesn't like you writing things about you, can it be trustworthy?
Would you trust it if it was like family? Because why would family lie on each other?
Pardon?
Like, if it's family, but why would his family lie on each other? That's going to make the whole family look bad.
Yeah, but it's organizational issues that they're arguing, because that was the falling out that occurred. See, this isn't secret because it's in the news. There's Time articles and whatnot, because he was part of the, governing body and stuff like that, what they call, the brothers that take care of organizing stuff. And in the Bible, it says very simply, anybody that doesn't wish to follow these instructions, the apostles wrote it, is to be treated like a person of the nations. Don't speak with them, don't eat with them, it says. Because they're called apostates for a reason. They're pulled away from a form of belief, and now they attack it. So that's what happened with him. Okay, he felt that there was nothing wrong with associating with people who had left the organization for belief reasons.
Now, would you call Frederick a scholar if he couldn't speak the language?
He was fluent in the language.
Yeah, because my research said that when they asked him in court, he couldn't read a sentence that a normal student that was studying would have been able to answer.
Once again, the source of that information is questionable.
Yeah, but they had the actual court documents where in court where they type out what you're
saying. Could
saying.
it or would it?
What you mean? Oh, he couldn't. They asked
Yeah.
him to read it there. He said, "Can you read this?"
Yeah, I did not
one
look up
sentence?"
any court documents.
Yeah, I can send it to you.
Okay.
Because it's actually court documents. The person that's writing it, they had the transcripts of what he said in court, and he couldn't read the language. So it was like, how can you call yourself a scholar and to be able to translate? And when you're the only one that knew Greek on that whole committee, you're the only one that knew Greek.
I have recordings of him giving public talks in Greek.
Yeah.
Okay, he would go to international conventions in Greece and give speaking parts and whatnot, you know. So once again, when you say, you know, that there's these court records and whatnot, and I mean, I did not look up court records. I just kind of looked up the information you gave, the names and stuff, and a lot of it, the source is Wikipedia, which quotes these different books and stuff, which is, once again, I'm not going to speak for others, but if I'm trying to know you, I'm not going to ask your worst enemy who you are. You know, I'm not going to ask your detractors about you, because I already understand that they come from a bias already. You know, so I would like to get to know you to make a decision about you. You know, now your issue, if I can call it that, with France is that you feel he's the main translator for the New World Translation. Is that what?
Yeah, but on that,
why are you taking issue with this one person?
I think it would be okay. Can I trust? If I look at the New World Translation, can I trust it? So then it goes, okay. Then you look at who wrote it, and then okay, if it's scholars, which one knew Greek? So then when it says he's the only one that knew Greek out of that whole committee that translated that Bible, he was the only one that was a quote unquote scholar. And then they asked him to read it, he couldn't read it. So it was like that was my thing. I'm like, who wrote it? So it was a scholar. And my thing was the scholar thing, not he's the only one that's a scholar. Okay, how much knowledge did he have? He said he only had one semester of the Greek. I'm like, that's not enough to
semester of what, like a higher education?
Yeah, a higher education
Okay.
of a university, a scholarly university, a quota university to do that.
So to understand a language, you feel somebody has to go to university?
Well, he went to seminar. He went to seminar.
Okay.
But to be able to speak it, to understand what the Bible is saying, and to translate it, you would need to be, I believe, fluent.
Glasses again.
Fluent in that language to speak
You know,
write it.
You know the website jw.org?
Yeah.
Have you been on it?
Yeah.
I'm looking it up because it changes daily. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Currently, it's available in 918 languages.
Yeah.
And that changes daily.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have teams of translators around the world working on this 24/7.
Yeah.
I'm involved personally in building what's called remote translation offices. We build them all over the country and the world for Navajo languages I didn't even know existed.
Yeah.
And guess what? We use local people for the translation because nobody understands better than somebody that's there.
Yeah.
Okay? We can't keep up. We can't go to, there are no schools or seminars that offer teaching 918 languages. You know? There's no other organization on this planet that needs this.
Yeah. But with the Bible, you will only need Greek and Hebrew.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is that to understand a language, it's a matter of study, research, and getting to know it. I don't feel the need
Mm-hmm.
of a, parchment or a school or something to tell me I understand the language.
So what is
That's
it?
based. That's based on your,
Front door.
being able to use it, your command of it,
Mm-hmm.
and what you put in.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Bolivia. I told you.
Mm-hmm.
I was homeschooled in Bolivia.
Mm-hmm.
The government made a census
Mm-hmm.
of all people, and the way they do it, the way they go about it is they go door to door. They mark a curfew. Nobody's allowed to leave their home
Mm-hmm.
because the census takers come and go door to door. They just sit down and they find out who lives there,
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. When they came to our house, they asked, "What school do your children go to?" My friend.
Say
They said
hi.
they don't go.
Hello.
Hello. They put down they were illiterate,
Mm-hmm.
literally. In the eyes of the Bolivian government, I'm an illiterate
Mm-hmm.
because I did not go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Yet, I can speak Spanish better than your wife, I think.
Yeah. So if someone was translating the Bible, for you to accept it, what requirements would you want them to have? So because they're translating the Hebrew and the Greek.
Okay, I wouldn't depend on one person. I
Yeah,
would even
for
depend
multiple.
on Mr. France himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
If I question a certain section of the Bible, I do my own research and kind of like what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I check other
Mm-hmm.
writings.
Mm-hmm.
And then I check a variety of opinions on the matter.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as you've come to see, this is a highly emotional subject.
Yeah.
The issue of God and who is He and what do you relate to. You need to get that.
No, it's not part
Is strongly, strongly emotional.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you can attest to that.
Yeah, yeah.
To try to keep emotions out of the picture
Mm-hmm.
and use reasoning
Yeah,
takes effort.
yeah.
You have to put bias aside.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be honest with what
Exactly,
you're
yeah.
finding.
Yeah,
Your
that's what I said.
discoveries,
Yeah, I said,
know?
give me the facts. So
Yeah.
when I look at it, I said, okay, there had to be scholars
Well, there you go again with the name scholar.
Because even
the title scholar.
because that was very important back in the day. For they didn't just let anyone translate the Bible.
Mhm.
So when you translated it, you had to have the requirements to translate
Mm-hmm.
the Bible. The random Joe couldn't just walk up and say, "I want to translate the Bible."
And
So when I look at that, okay, I'm gonna look at the New World Translation. I'm gonna do my research. Give me the facts.
okay,
So now there's no other scholar. So
now
I
you're
said,
talking about what, the period of when the Septuagint was written, or what? When you say back then, you had to be a scholar.
oh yeah, back then, yeah, when it was translating it,
Yeah.
you couldn't just be anyone that
Yeah,
translated.
well, most
Mhm.
people didn't know how to read and write. That's
Yeah.
why. Yeah.
So now I'm gonna use those same standards. So okay. So if someone's giving me this translation, I have to ask myself, can I trust this translation? So now that's another question. So I said, okay, let's look at who made this translation. So we got to be careful. Jesus said false prophets are gonna arise. So now when I look at the facts, I look at the scholars. There's on the committee. There's no scholars.
Yeah.
And there's only one. So as friend, that's why I would have to look at him. I wouldn't say it's like a bias, but he's the only one to look at.
Yeah.
And this is what he said in court. He says, how you made yourself familiar. This is the transcript. How you made yourself familiar with the Hebrew. He says, yes. So that you have a substantial linguistic apparatus at your command. Yes, for my use of my biblical work.
Mhm.
I think you are able to read and write and follow the Bible in Hebrew, Greek, Latin, Spanish, Portuguese, German, and French. You know many languages. Yes, right? So it says later in the cross examination, you yourself read and speak Hebrew, do you? I do not speak Hebrew. You do not? No. Can you yourself translate that into Hebrew? Which? The 4th verse of the 2nd chapter of Genesis. You mean here? They ask him yes. He says no. So for someone, this is the one that has the most knowledge on this committee, to not even be able to speak it, one verse, that would just a question. That would
That's
just
why you have a
draw a red
committee. What
flag.
if other members of the committee were fluent Hebrew?
That there was no one that the scholar level that you should be at scholar level. There was no one.
Who print that?
This is from
So
CRI.
it's a book or what?
No, this is a connect with the. Oh, this is a Christian Research Institute,
Okay.
and
somebody must have wrote that article, because what's the purpose of
this
that
is a
article?
transcript. This is just the frame,
Yeah.
the court transcripts from November 24th, 1954. That was when he went to trial for that.
Okay.
There's a proof of the transcripts held on Wednesday, November 24th, when it was cross-examining him
Mm-hmm.
about the translators of the Bible.
Okay. So what was the result of that?
It showed that he wasn't even fluent in the language. So
What was the
discredits
purpose of the lawsuit?
to actually present who translated the Bible, because they held the names off on purpose.
Yeah.
They didn't put them out to the public. So they said you have to,
Mm-hmm.
and they wanted to know who was actually on this committee and who
Okay.
was going to
So
question.
the whole court was
Yeah.
to make public the members of the committee.
Yep.
Okay. And they did?
Yep.
Okay.
And then to see if they were
So-
this is actual
So
a good translation.
was the court there to determine whether the New World Translation was accurate?
Yes,
And the decision was?
it's not, because there was no one that can speak it.
Since when does the judicial get involved in that? The judicial branch of the government get involved in that?
I don't know why they did, but
Yeah. Was it
I can do more
was
research
it
into
state? Was it federal? What was it? What kind of court was it? Because there's religions out there that worship spaghetti, and I'm not being funny.
that. Mm-hmm.
They literally worship spaghetti.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, we can't take them to court for that.
Yeah.
That's their right to do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's the Book of Mormon.
Yep.
It's their basis of their faith.
Yep.
The Pearl of Great Price and the Book of Mormon.
Yep.
Neither of them are Bibles.
Mm-hmm.
It's their books.
Yeah.
Yet their whole premise and their whole belief and their whole, preaching work is based on that.
Mm-hmm.
They claim to use the Bible, but their books differ greatly from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to a ridiculous extent, they differ.
Yeah.
So, why they even use the Bible, we don't know, because they don't preach the Bible. They don't believe in what the Bible says.
Mm-hmm.
Aside of using Jesus' name here and there and some biblical names,
Mm-hmm.
they went off on a tangent as a religion.
Yeah.
They have not been put on trial for that. They've been put on trial for their polygamy. They're put on trial for their business practices, other things like that,
Mm-hmm.
but not the fact that they printed those books.
Yeah.
So, why would a court question a translation of a Bible?
It says it was concerning the identity and the credentials of the New World
Yeah.
Translation translators.
And very likely brought up by another religious organization.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably. I wouldn't say. I wouldn't
Because
say
the government doesn't care, let me tell you right now.
Yeah.
The Attorney General is not going to go chasing after any religious group, small or large, to see if their publications are accurate or not.
So would you say you would overlook the findings because of who was looking?
No, I question the purpose of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Because once again, we can do this. We can do all of this without the New World Translation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
I use the New World Translation because I find it easy to understand and use. And I find that the changes that are there are grammatical to the purpose of easing of understanding, not of changing meaning. Now, you talked about scholars of the day that were allowed to translate the Bible.
Yeah.
You're talking about what we call the Dark Ages.
Mm-hmm.
That's when most translations occurred.
Mm-hmm.
Out of those translations, most of them were in Latin
Mm-hmm.
and kept in Latin for that purpose. The religious powers of the time, the last thing they wanted was you and me reading the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
And, the champions of making the Bible available to the common person
Yeah.
are, Tyndale, Luther was another one,
Mhm.
right? There's quite a few of them that, under pain of death, translated the Bible from Latin, Greek, or Hebrew to the common tongue, whether it be German, English, whatever country they were working in, French.
Yeah.
None of those were scholars.
So at the end of the video, we hear him say that they can teach without the New World Translation, and that they are grammatical changes, but it doesn't change the meaning. In my next video, I'm going to show you a couple scriptures and to show you how that is false. And if they use a different Bible, they will come out with a different meaning of the text and who Jesus is, who the Holy Spirit is, and who God is. So thank you for watching. God bless.
Each time be like a letter to my soul. Reminded that I was blinded by no remorse. I threw shots, he responded with a cross.